Juneteenth is, excuse me, what's happening to the white people? They have a Black Miss America. They have a Black college. They have a Black month. What do we have? And now they have Juneteenth. Yes, I understand there was slavery, don't get me wrong. But there was also a Holocaust, and that was more recent than slavery. But you don't hear the Jews saying, gimme, 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 gimme. What's the point of Juneteenth? What is it? I don't know.
I don't think enough people know who Opal Lee is. Most people know Juneteenth. They know it's a holiday now. They know there's a cookout somewhere. They know they don't have to go to work. But the woman called the grandmother of Juneteenth? A lot of people couldn't even tell you her story. In 1939, Opal Lee was 12 years old. Her family had just bought a home in Fort Worth, Texas. 4 days later, on Juneteenth, a white mob showed up. About 500 people. The police were called, but the mob stayed. Opal's family got out, but the mob broke in and destroyed everything they owned. And I keep coming back to that date, Juneteenth, a date that's supposed to commemorate freedom. A 12-year-old Black girl watching a crowd decide that her family didn't belong. On that day of all days, and Opal Lee remembered it for the rest of her life. Now, if you know anything about Black families, you know we don't just carry photographs and heirlooms. We carry stories. The stories our grandparents told, the stories our parents told, the stories we refuse to let disappear. And Opal carried that one with her for decades. Most people know Juneteenth as June 19th, 1865, the day Union troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, and informed enslaved people that they were free. But here's the part that gets missed. Too often, really. Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation 2.5 years earlier. The enslaved people of Texas were legally free. The problem with that is that freedom on paper and freedom in real life aren't always the same thing. It took the Union troops arriving in Galveston to enforce it. That's what Juneteenth commemorates. Not just freedom, the delay, the distance between what the government says and what people actually experience. And if you're Black in America, that theme just keeps showing up, doesn't it? Then Opal Lee got older, much older, 89 years old, an age where people have earned the right to sit down if they want to. You know? But Opal decided to start walking. She wanted Juneteenth recognized as a federal holiday. Originally, she wanted to walk from Fort Worth to Washington, D.C., but her family convinced her not to do the whole trip. So she started walking 2.5 miles in cities across the country instead. But that number wasn't random, y'all. It represented the 2.5 years between the Emancipation Proclamation and Juneteenth. City after city, year after year, she collected more than 1.6 million signatures. And while a lot of people were just discovering Juneteenth, Opal Lee was making sure that nobody could forget it anymore. Then in June of 2021, she stood beside President Biden as he signed Juneteenth into law as a federal holiday. She was 94 years old. The same woman whose home had been destroyed by a racist mob on Juneteenth. The same woman who spent years walking so people would remember the significance of that day. The same little girl from Fort Worth, standing in the White House watching Juneteenth finally receive federal recognition. History usually doesn't give people moments like that, you know? But Miss Lee got one. So that's why we have to keep coming back to her story, because when people think about Juneteenth, they usually talk about the holiday itself, right? But I keep thinking about the people that carried that history long enough for us to inherit it. People who refused to let that story disappear. People who kept telling it even when nobody was listening. People who understood that if you don't protect a story, eventually somebody else is going to rewrite it. Opal Lee is 99 years old. Opal Lee is 99 years old. In October, she will be 100. She is still here, still reminding people what Juneteenth actually commemorates. And if anybody's earned the title of Grandmother of Juneteenth, it's probably the woman who spent the majority of her life making sure that the rest of us remembered. Say her name, Opal Lee.
Hey, white people, happy Juneteenth. I know you weren't alive during slavery. I know you didn't own slaves. I know you didn't have anything to do with it. But you know it was wrong, so why do you have such a problem with it? Don't they already get a whole month? Do they really need another day? What the hell is Juneteenth? Listen, I used to be an ignorant asshole too. June 19th, 1865 is a very significant day in American history. Because technically, theoretically, on paper anyway, we were all supposed to be free Americans. Except for segregation, Jim Crow, the KKK, lynchings, the 13th Amendment, and other horrible, hateful shit white people did. I know you weren't alive back then, but white people enslaved black, Chinese, Irish, Native Americans, and anybody else we could get our hands on. And I know you get upset when a black face tells you this country was built on slavery. This white face is going to tell you the same thing, because facts are way more important than your feelings. By the 1800s, cotton was the leading export of the United States. It was the backbone of global trade. It was the foundation of the Southern economy. It drove the Industrial Revolution, and it fueled growth of the worldwide textile industry. Remember, Berkshire Hathaway started off as a textile company. And the United States produced over 50% of the world's cotton supply. The U.S. was to cotton back then what the Middle East is to oil today. Are you following me? No, seriously, click that follow button. Do you know why the U.S. dominated the global cotton market? It's because we enslaved millions and millions of black Americans. We bought them, we bred them, we tortured them, then we worked them to death. And whether you want to admit it or not, America sold her soul for a low-cost labor force. Oh, wait. So how was America actually built on enslavement? Because the American government borrowed money from foreign banks and governments, which was collateralized by cotton, to fuel our economy and build our infrastructure. So my fellow white people, if slavery was abolished, you weren't alive, you didn't own any slaves, you think it's wrong, and you don't consider yourself a racist, then why in the hell would you have a problem with a federal holiday which acknowledges the 250,000 enslaved Americans in Texas who received word of their freedom on June 19th, 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed? Why does that bother you? And like I always say, black history is American history, not just in fucking February.
Hi guys, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Q's Global. If you're just coming across my page for the very first time, please do it, like, share my video, and I beg in the name of God, subscribe for me. Great results the rightful owners of the clips and stitches I have added to this particular video. So guys, you see about this Juneteenth of a thing. Juneteenth is a day when the black Americans were free from slavery. Like, that was the day they got their freedom. So for a lot of white folks, behaving as if they don't know, talking as if it's something that is not worth celebrating, is something that I do not understand. So guys, I'm going to add more clips and stitches to this particular video, then I'll come back with commentaries. Stay tuned.
So I saw a weird post today that basically was like making fun of black people for celebrating Juneteenth, and it said like, oh, like, ha ha ha, like Juneteenth isn't for black people, it's for black Texans. And I feel like that completely misses the history of how Juneteenth became a national holiday in the first place. And before I get into like what Juneteenth is and the history of it, I want to say, as a white American, I want to be careful that I don't like speak over anybody, but I do feel like it's important for white people to also know this history, because it's not just black history, it's American history. This is an important part of our shared history that all of us should definitely understand. So Juneteenth exists because about 250,000 people were still enslaved in Texas. This is about 2.5 years after they were supposed to be freed. So 1863, Abe Lincoln issues the Emancipation Proclamation declaring enslaved people in Confederate states free. But a proclamation on paper and freedom in practice were two very different things, because Texas was pretty far from most of the major battlefields of the Civil War. So slaveholders had moved enslaved people into Texas during the war, like away from everything. And there weren't enough Union troops to enforce emancipation. So slavery continued heavily in Texas. So on June 19th, 1865, this is where Juneteenth comes from. The Union Major General Gordon Granger arrives in Galveston, Texas, and publicly reads General Order Number 3. And it says, the people of Texas are informed that in ordinance with a proclamation from the executive of the United States, all slaves are free. So that day becomes known as Juneteenth. The following year, 1866, black Texans held the first Juneteenth celebration. So they gathered to pray, to read the proclamation out loud. They were singing freedom songs, sharing meals, and celebrating the freedom that had been delayed for them for years, because segregation had also already taken hold, and many public parks excluded Black Americans. They basically also had nowhere to celebrate. So then by 1872, Black leaders in Houston raised $1,000 to purchase 10 acres of land that became Emancipation Park, which was one of the first parks in Texas purchased specifically for Juneteenth celebrations. So now here is where that post falls apart. Juneteenth did start in Texas, but it didn't stay in Texas, because between like 1910 to like about 1970, Great Migration takes place. Okay. Millions of Black Americans leave the South. They're looking for jobs, looking for somewhere safer to be, better opportunities, trying to escape like Jim Crow laws, racial violence, voter suppression, economic exploitation. So a lot of Black Texans moved to like Chicago, Detroit, Oakland, Los Angeles, like Seattle, Denver, Pittsburgh, New York City, Washington, D.C. They brought Juneteenth with them, is my point. The holiday spread across the country because the people who celebrated it spread across the country. So families carried the tradition with them, churches carried the tradition with them, entire communities carried the tradition with them. So while Juneteenth began as Texas's celebration, it became a national Black American tradition through migration and community. Another interesting thing I saw is that there was a white person that had posted a comment that was like, well, why isn't Juneteenth just like during Black History Month? And that's when I really realized like people don't know what Juneteenth is. And it's a very common misconception amongst white Americans. And it's because Juneteenth survived for over 100 years before the government officially recognized it. I think 1980 is when Texas officially recognized Juneteenth as a state holiday, which is still more than 100 years after Black Americans had already been celebrating it. And then in 2021, 156 years after it began, Juneteenth finally becomes a federal holiday. And while we're talking about history getting lost, let's talk about the flag. So a lot of companies use like the red, black, and green for Juneteenth because those are the Pan-African colors, but the official Juneteenth flag is actually red, white, and blue. The star in the center represents Texas, where Juneteenth began. The burst around it symbolizes a new beginning, and then the curved horizon represents a promise of freedom, expanding into the future. The colors were chosen deliberately to make a point. Black Americans' fight for freedom is inseparable from American history. It is American history. So to respond to that original post that I saw, no, Juneteenth is not just for Black Texans. It started with Black Texans, but because of the Great Migration and the generations of Black Americans that kept the tradition alive, it became a part of Black American history, period. Juneteenth is the story of freedom that was delayed, and freedom that was having to be enforced, and a community that essentially refused to let that history be forgotten, and I think that's awesome. So happy Juneteenth. Love you guys.
What was the point of celebrating Juneteenth and Black History Month if you're just gonna go and celebrate 4th of July? Oh, I'm not celebrating the 4th of July. I'm just going to eat. I'm just going to meet with family. I'm just going to watch the fireworks. I'm not celebrating it. So what is celebrating it?
Watch this video and let's talk about it.
Juneteenth is, excuse me, what's happening to the white people? They have a Black Miss America. They have a Black college. They have a Black month. What do we have? And now they have Juneteenth. Yes, I understand there was slavery, don't get me wrong. But there was also a Holocaust, and that was more recent than slavery. But you don't hear the Jews saying, gimme, 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 gimme. What's the point of Juneteenth? What is it? I don't know.
I'm Dr. Michael H. Ford, and let's talk about what you just saw. So this woman asked the question, what's happening to the white people? She then said they have a Black Miss America, they have a Black college, they have a Black month, and now they have Juneteenth. And then poses the question, what do white people have? Saying that you don't hear the Jews saying, give me, give me, give me, give me. Okay, let's take this point by point. Point number 1. Remember, for decades, black women were excluded from the pageant entirely. Vanessa Williams became the first black Miss America in 1983, nearly 60 years after the competition began in 1921. Representation did not replace anyone, it corrected exclusion. Point number 2. HBCUs were founded because black students were barred from white institutions. The Morrill Act of 1890 required segregated states to provide land-grant colleges for black students if they refused to integrate. Historically, black colleges and universities were not handouts. There were parallel systems built because access was denied. Point number 3. Black History Month began as Negro Week in 1926, created by historian Carter G. Woodson to confront the systematic erasure of black contributions from textbooks and public memory. It expanded to a full month in 1976 during the nation's bicentennial. It exists because omission was policy. Point number 4. Juneteenth marks June 19, 1865, when enslaved people in Galveston, Texas were informed of their freedom. More than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, it became a federal holiday in 2021. Juneteenth commemorates delayed freedom and the unfinished work of equality. Point number 5. The Holocaust comparison. Jewish communities absolutely sought justice. In 1952, West Germany signed the Luxembourg Agreement, committing billions in reparations to Holocaust survivors and to Israel. Compensation programs, restitution funds, and formal acknowledgement followed. Black Americans enslaved for nearly 250 years in the United States have never received federal reparations for slavery. The promise of land redistribution in 1865 was reversed. Instead came black codes, convict leasing, redlining, exclusion from GI Bill benefits, and a racial wealth gap that persists today. This is not give me, give me, give me. This is unaddressed harm. This is history without repair. Recognition is not lost. It is not lost to tell the full story. It is not lost to honor delayed freedom. It is not lost to repair documented harm. It is not lost to expand the table. It is not lost when justice reaches everyone. Commemoration is not competition. Justice is not a zero-sum game. Healing starts with knowing. Follow for more.
It's wild how some of you with no connection to Ireland will go all out to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, but suddenly have a problem when it comes to recognizing Juneteenth as a legitimate holiday. That contradiction says a lot more than you think.
I'll do you one even better. There's people out there that celebrate Cinco de Mayo every single year, but turn around and want to deport Mexicans. Then those same people will celebrate a Sweet 16 when that is a direct copy of a quinceañera. Then they'll look you dead in the eye and tell you that Juneteenth shouldn't be a holiday. These people will legitimately argue with you about a holiday that gives them a day off from work. That is some type of racism I just never thought about. And speaking of racists and racism, they sure enough enjoy the day off from work they get from Martin Luther King Day, what doesn't really correlate with the fact that they don't want Juneteenth as a federal holiday. Actually, I just came to the realization that there is no correlation between all of this. I think they just hate minorities, especially black people. Because now that I'm thinking about it, they love our food, they love our music, they love the way that we dress, they love our culture, but they just hate us. Also, anything that celebrates us, because they hate the whole month of February. And it's not everyone, right? But y'all know exactly the people that I'm talking about. And this is just something I just would never understand, because they love the culture but hate the people. But y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
And just because your ass is free, don't think I like you, nigger. I don't care. I'm free, nigga. Nigga. Yo, nigga.
Now, I think y'all forgot that Juneteenth is only for motherfuckers whose grandparents was a slave. That's who Juneteenth for. It's not for no Caribbeans. It's not for none of y'all bitches. It is for who grandparents was a slave. It is for black Americans. It's not for Afro-Latinos. It's not for Africans. It is for black Americans. That is it. That is all.
You're Democrat or Republican?
I'm Republican.
Juneteenth should not be a holiday.
No.
It shouldn't be a holiday.
No.
You don't think slaves should celebrate? You don't think that society should celebrate their free slaves?
There are so many days that we could be celebrating that we're not celebrating.
Talk to me.
Every day
I know.
should
Tell
be a
me
day
something.
that we celebrate.
Tell me something. Tell me one that should be a federal holiday.
There are so many different.
Come on, name a couple. Just a couple.
I don't want to do this anymore. I don't like the pressure. I don't like the pressure.
What's pressure? All right. I don't want my children dating blacks.
No.
You don't think that's racist?
No.
Okay. Black women are hard to deal with in customer service.
Sometimes.
Okay. Black culture is toxic.
No.
Blacks need to stop abandoning their women.
Yes.
Think so?
Yes.
Okay, all right. All right, so immigrants are changing our society for the worse.
Yeah.
That's true, okay.
Like to make an Oreo with us and come to our.
Fuck off.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
I don't know who you think you are.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I don't care. Back the fuck off.
I just wanted to ask if you want to come to our Juneteenth.
Don't walk up on people. That lady didn't do shit to you. You walking up, she asking you to leave her alone.
She never asked us to leave her alone. She asked us to put her on camera, actually.
No, she didn't.
She said that the Walmart treated her bad.
You didn't. I saw her trying to walk away and you walked
Sir, I'm a Black Lives Matter. I don't want any problems, sir.
I don't care what you are.
Today's our day.
I don't care.
We want you to celebrate the day with us.
Stop following people. You can celebrate whatever you want. I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Don't follow people.
We're just going inside the Walmart.
Then go inside the Walmart and do this shit in there and see how fast they kick you off the property. Stop following me.
Bro, I'm going inside the Walmart.
Walk a different fucking way.
No, I'm walking
Don't
this
walk
way, bro.
behind me. That's fine.
Here, my BLM two-step on you. Man, Viter might actually be.
So welcome back, guys. So I see a lot of white folks, like people of color, making fun of black people over Juneteenth, holding Juneteenth. Like, you saw a lot of clips and stitches that I've added to this particular video. Like, it's something that is so disgusting and it's something that is not proper. So many of these people of color do not see Juneteenth as something that is worth celebrating, which is a very big lie. Many of these white folks are still seeing black people as if they are still enslaved. Like, I don't know how to put it, but you see them making jest of blacks for celebrating Juneteenth, like making comments like, ha ha ha, what is Juneteenth? Juneteenth is not important. Juneteenth is not for even Black America. Yeah, I don't understand. This is a day that these people got their independence. This is the day they got their freedom. It's worth celebrating. If you can't celebrate with them, you must not exercise your racisms. Like, just keep quiet. You must not comment on every post. You must not react to anything you see online. The ones you cannot talk about, you just go. So for those white folks that are saying Juneteenth is not important, I don't think they know what they are saying. Like making jest of it, laughing emoji, dropping laughing emoji. So you will see most of them on social media saying, who cares about Juneteenth? What is Juneteenth? Is Juneteenth important? Is it? I don't like a whole lot of things that is not supposed to be said. That is not supposed. Is not supposed. You are not even supposed to utter such a word. Like, Black Americans have a lot of holidays. Like, then is the Juneteenth necessary? Like, I watched a lot of clips where you saw, I added that clip to this particular video. You saw where a very old lady was trying to say Juneteenth is a kind of bull, you know. It doesn't sound right at all. People fought for that day to come to existence. A lot of people fought for it. For them to celebrate Juneteenth is not a small thing. They know what they are doing, and most of you that are saying they should not celebrate it, it doesn't worth it. You guys know what you were all doing. You know it's worth it, but you're just saying it because of the hatred you have for these people. These people have suffered, like, they've suffered for a decade of time, and the only time they celebrate, like, they gain their freedom, and then a lot of you will be on the comment section saying things that is not supposed to be said about these people. It's not good at all. Like, it's not good at all. One thing I appreciate most is there are still people that knows what it. So that is it. That is it. If you are against Juneteenth, you are not a good person. No. You are not a good person, because this is the day that is meant to be celebrated, and it's really worth it. It's really worth it. It's really worth it. And if you are against Juneteenth, that means you still want the Black Americans, like you never want them to be free from that slavery, from that suffer, from that torture that they went through. You never want them to be free. You still want them to be enslaved. Yes. That is how it is, and that is what you mean, and that is how you see it. You still see these people as if they are still slaves. You still see them as if they are still people that don't see. Most people that hate Juneteenth, they are all racist people. That's nothing but the truth. They are racist people. They don't want to see those people that were free from slavery. They don't want to see them happy. Yes, they always want to see them being enslaved, being controlled, and being used. So guys, please do all to give me a like, subscribe for me, I beg in the name of God, and turn on your notification bells. Whenever I drop another video, YouTube will be able to notify you. Credit will also write for one of the clips and stitches I've added to this particular video. So guys, thank you so much, and I'll be going for now. See you some other time. I love you. Stay blessed. Stay focused. Stay positive.